Hey guys, how's it going? So, recently I tested the 2015 S1000R, and now I'm actually testing the 2017 version. So I tested the 2015 2 days ago, and now it's the 2017's turn. It's very similar bikes, but there have been improvements made. From the outside, it doesn't look any different, except at this BMW dealer, which is here in Santon. And I think all the 2017s actually come with a free Akrapovic slip-on on all the bikes, and that is a gorgeous kit, and that's like a selling point for me already, but I digress. So the bike has an up and down shifter now. It's had adjustments made to the throttle, and in general, it's just been made a little bit better in all places. So we're going to give this a test now that I've freshly ridden the other one, and we'll see how much of a difference it's actually made. Okay. You just start up, very similar to the other one. It's neutral, and the bike is fairly warm, so don't worry about me damaging it, guys, please. Without further ado, let's get this test right on the road. So if you haven't already, I'd ask you to go and watch the 2015's review, which I will link in the description of this video and put a card up, and then you'll be able to see a comparison of the two. Already that quick shifter feels much better. So yeah, let's start with the equipment. It's got the gear indicator, digital speedometer, trip meter, clock, engine temperature, mode selector, analog tach. Wow, okay, I can't believe how, wait. Okay, I love the auto blippers. I thought it was just quick shifters I was in love with. Now I know it's the auto blipper as well. It's such a strange feeling to kick down on a bike without a clutch, because you feel like you're gonna break it, but it just works so well. Dynamic doesn't feel as twitchy as the 2015 did, I have to say. It's much more calm. So I'm running in dynamic mode. I'll switch it to the normal mode in a bit to see what the difference is, but with the old dynamic mode, it was like those two separate throttle responses. The first one was very soft for the first eighth of a turn, and then it became very violent. Whereas with this bike, it's completely smooth throughout. Perhaps Dynamic Pro has more of that twitchiness on the throttle. I might try Dynamic Pro out. It just has no, yeah, that auto blipper is something to be jealous of, guys. And the quick shifter obviously feels much better when you're hard on the throttle than if you're soft on it. So I'm not going to do as in-depth a review of the actual motorcycle as I did with the 2015, because this is more of a comparative review, so I want to discuss the differences. I told you aesthetically and from the outside it doesn't look different at all, and I stand by that. It looks very much the same. It's got the electronic suspension like it does, the heated grips, active suspension, all that kind of stuff is still the same. But yeah, the bike looks identical from the outside, and except for the color schemes and the exhaust, you probably wouldn't be able to tell it's the 2017 versus the 2015. But feeling wise, it's much smoother, guys. It feels, and this is what I was told by the previous dealer, is the new one just feels a lot better. Every little thing has been improved, all the little niggles. And let's forgive the S1000R, the 2015, because that was essentially the launch model. Remember, it's not like it had been out for long. It came out in 2014, and then that was the 2015. It hadn't had time to get improved. Guys, if you're considering between the 2017 and 2015, it's worth every little cent extra to get the 2017 model. It's just 10 times the bike. Now, in my previous video, I didn't manage to show you the cruise control working, which I'll show you because I'm going to go on the highway. I mentioned that the steering is a bit heavy, and I'll tell you what it feels like on this bike. Still has a bit of a heavy steering feel. Like the first bit of lean feels fine, and then it gets a bit heavier. But I must say, I'm really enjoying all the aids this bike comes with. It's got anti-lock brakes, it's got traction control. I don't know if it's got wheelie control, it might be linked to the actual traction. There is LED indicators, the exhaust, like I said, those pops, which is... All I'm going to do is accelerate and tap off because the popping. And this auto blipper, because I know that if you have to buy your own quick shift and auto blip unit, you're usually looking at about, well, in South Africa at least, you're looking at about 20,000 Rand or so for those units. So that's an expensive unit, and I mean, it comes all standard, because in South Africa, BMW bikes come with all the optional extras. You don't get base models as such. There's definitely more low down response from this motorcycle. It doesn't have that same delay that the 2015 had. It's much more responsive. I don't think I could have ever said this before, but I think as far as the bike goes, I prefer it to the MT10. It's just a lot more precise, a lot easier to throw around. It feels like a much more precision built machine. I mean, that is German quality, it's European, remember that. The MT10 for a Japanese bike is really, really good, but, and I have to say, I still give the MT10 the looks, because I really like those looks. I know not many people do. I mean, some people don't like the BMW's asymmetric headlight look or the asymmetric panels, and it's really grown on me, so it doesn't really bother me or anything. The brakes are also much less twitchy than the last ones, but it could have been down to the pads, I'm not sure now. Okay, it's a lot easier to put into corners than the old one. I don't know what it is, guys. They've really made a lot of improvements, but not things you can just directly throw your fingers onto. But I do know that this is the bike. I think this is going to be my next bike, guys. I'm serious. I can't find a fault with it. I like that the hooter is a bit out of the way, because sometimes with my bike I go for the indicator and I slip and touch the hooter. And this one's a little bit lower, because you don't really need it to be that high. And all these little details, I mean, BMW just thought of everything. Okay, so this is 130 on the highway. Crap. Get rid of that. So this is 165 horsepower. Now it's got a slip-on, so there might be a little bit of a power gain there. I'm not sure. They fixed the whole rev range, so they've got the power more consistent, which is probably why it feels a lot smoother. I got used to the other brakes and how sensitive they were, and I started enjoying the biting feel, but these are a lot more user-friendly, especially if it's your first time riding this bike. And it does feel very planted in these corners. That is very good suspension. Okay, if I put that into there. Okay guys, there's cruise control. I believe it has to be at least 120 km an hour. And there you go. No hands, not touching, cruise control. Woo! I'm just gonna, let's see, okay. And I touch the brake and it goes off immediately. Perfect. So it's sensitive to brakes. As soon as you touch the brake, it goes off. Yeah, I'm comfortable. I mean, there's wind resistance definitely, but it's bearable. Now the motorcycle in general feels a little bit quieter. than the 2015 when it's revving, and I think that's due to Euro 4. Remember, this is a Euro 4 bike, guys. And BMW somehow with Euro 4 managed to actually get more power out than they started with, so well done again. It's not something that happens often. Yeah. Guys, if you were to buy an S1000R, it could be your everyday bike, it could be your track bike, it could be your touring bike, it could be your fast riding through the mountains bike, everything. Oh wait, am I supposed to go? I'm being retarded. But I think I better return this bike before I do something really stupid and go and buy it with no source of income whatsoever. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to wrap up this review, guys. This has been an amazing motorcycle. Very possibly one of the best I've ever ridden in my life. It doesn't frighten me as much as the 2015 because it's a lot smoother power, but it's still all there if you need it. And I would recommend it to anyone looking for a comfortable, powerful motorcycle. This S1000R is, it's just unbelievable, guys. I've been Aero Rider, you've been awesome, and I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe. Ooh. Oh no. Oh dear. I've fallen in love again.